Trying to work on your transverse abdominis muscle after pregnancy, but not quite getting the response you want? Or maybe you're unsure if when you're engaging the TA muscle that you're doing it right. You've seen others demonstrate it, but when you try to engage in the same way, the upper abs seem to take over and to do a lot of the work. Yet you still feel weak in that area and you want to become more connected to that region and just don't know what to do. My name is Manera and I'm a pre- and postnatal physiotherapist with nearly a decade of experience in helping postpartum women with diastasis, and I teach professionals around the world about the condition as well. I want you to know that there is a way to get more connected to your lower TA muscle. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you might be someone who has Diastasis Rectus Abdominis and are trying to figure out how to help your core. You may have seen exercise videos that ask you to engage the TA by pulling your navel in towards your spine. And while it looks great when they do it, when you try to do it, it doesn't seem like you're getting any motion down there. You see a little bit of movement, but really not a lot. Or even more common, the only place that seems to move is in this area right up here, above the belly button. Let's talk about why this might be happening. First, you might see your middle and upper abdomen pull in instead of your lower abdomen. Maybe because that's just the way your body's used to doing it. It's a strategy your body was using long before you were pregnant and simply doesn't know any other way. It doesn't mean you're actually doing anything wrong. It's just a strategy that your body and your core are using right now for engagement. It's not bad and it's not wrong. Now, what I'd like to help you with in this video is learning another strategy that you and your core can use instead of the one that it's currently using. A strategy that's been shown by research to help bias that TA muscle by drawing in the abdomen. So what we're doing here is aiming to provide your body with another option. Another reason why you might find connecting to your lower TA difficult is because when you were pregnant, the weight of the pregnancy really does rest in that lower part of the abdomen. So those muscles were working quite hard as the baby was growing. And after being stretched for months on end, this area might need a little help afterwards. And unless you were doing a lot of Pilates exercises before you were pregnant, where you may have had practice engaging your TA and drawing your navel in towards your spine, you might not have had any reason to use the abs in this way before. So this might feel unnatural and foreign to you. And it's just compounded by the fact that you may be trying to learn this skill for the first time after your muscles and tissues have been stretched and potentially weakened. So understandably, it can make it even harder. The transverse abdominis muscle, or the TA, is a muscle that lies deep within the abdominal muscular wall. It is a large, flat sheet of muscle that wraps around the sides of the abdomen, and when it makes its way to the front of the abdomen, it becomes connective tissue, and then it joins in the center to form the linea alba. The TA actually forms one of the 3 layers of connective tissue of the linea alba. So if you're wondering, what should I do to help my linea alba? Well, this is one way in. So the TA muscle, when it contracts, it draws in the abdomen. For most postpartum women though, being able to draw in the lower abdomen is quite difficult. It just doesn't seem to budge. And this may be due to some of the reasons we talked about before. And why would we want to spend some time doing this anyways? Will learning how to engage your lower abdomen make any difference in your core? Well, the lower abdomen is often an area that has lingering laxity and weakness. It's an area that we often refer to as the mummy pooch. It's more distended and relaxed, and that usually happens in the lower abdomen and in the middle. So being able to engage this area lets you consciously work with that area while you're doing core exercises. So you're able to reinforce the muscles and tissues that might need a little bit of help compared to using other muscles that might already be strong. So you're developing connection and control over these muscles, and this might help you better target those muscles that need more help. Okay, so now that you know why you might be having difficulty engaging your lower TA and why it's important developing connection to that area, let's go over how. Okay, let's go over how to engage your TA. I want you to start in a standing position and make sure there's a mirror in front of you. You'll want to do this while you're fully relaxed, so take a big breath in, let go of your core. It is best to do this with your shirt fully lifted, because that way you can see which muscles are at play here, which ones are turning on and which ones aren't. And now that you know that the main function of the TA is to draw the abdomen inwards, we can select a cue that encourages that inwards movement of your abdomen. So some cues are gently but fully draw in the area below your belly button, pull in the area between your belly button and pubic bone, or draw in the area behind your underwear as if you were trying to fit into tight pants and didn't want to get pinched by the zipper. For our sake here, we will use the drawing in cue. So as you're standing in front of the mirror, gently draw in the area below the belly button towards your spine. Now, what you're watching for is any movement in the lower abdomen between your belly button and your pubic bone. To find your pubic bone, you can gently press along your abdomen from the belly button all the way down until you feel a hard bone, and that is the pubic bone. When you engage, do you see any activity down in that region? You might notice that this area gets pulled in slightly, fully, or not at all. And what we're aiming here is to have a full engagement where the lower abdomen draws in all the way. Similar to this. It can take time for your brain to recognize what you're doing and what you're asking of it. So if you don't see a lot of movement down there in that region right away, keep trying, because it's possible that with practice and persistence, you'll develop a better connection to your muscle, and it'll be much easier to activate that muscle over time. Now, from my experience in helping postpartum women with diastasis, I know you may be trying to engage your TA exactly as instructed, but still nothing seems to move down there. Or it's possible that the lower abdomen only draws in slightly, or that when you try to use the lower abdomen, your upper abdomen muscles kick in and basically take over. So what can you do if you find yourself in that scenario? Well, there's a simple trick. Change your position. For some people, it's just too difficult to use the TA in this manner in the standing position. So instead, try sitting down and practicing it there. This simple change in position is one of the most effective strategies for connecting to your TA. So have a seat on a chair, watch yourself in the mirror, and try the cue again. Try drawing in your lower abdomen towards your spine. Sometimes the best way to watch what's happening, especially in the seated position, is by watching from the side. And again, what you're looking for is the pulling in of the lower abdomen. Does it go further this time? Is there less upper abdominal usage? What you're also making note of here is if the position made it any easier for you to feel the contraction. Did it feel more smooth? Was it easier for you to control what was happening? For a lot of people, just moving from standing to sitting makes a world of a difference. And if that's the case for you, keep practicing in this position, in sitting, for a few minutes every single day until it feels easier, until you can draw in more than what you could before, and then work back up until you're standing. But now that you've practiced in sitting and have developed some connection and strength in that particular position, it will likely feel a lot easier this time around when you move to standing. So that being said, I do know that still sometimes it is hard to accomplish this task even in sitting, where when you try to engage the lower TA in that position, the abdomen does go further than in standing, but still not all the way, and you still notice a little bit or still some engagement of the other abdominal regions. So what do you do then? Well, you can offload the TA even more by practicing this in side lying. This position can make a world of a difference if you're having a difficult time in both the standing and seated position. So position yourself on the ground, and if you don't have a mirror at ground level, then just a handheld one would work here as well. Now, try the same cue, draw in your lower abdomen, watch in the mirror to see what your core does and make a comparison to what happened in standing and in sitting. Again, was there more inwards movement of the abdomen when you contracted? Was there less use of other abdominal regions or muscles? Between the three positions, you'll likely find one position that feels more smooth, that lets you produce the most movement of your lower abdomen and lets you feel what you're doing better and allows you to perform that maneuver with less other abdominal muscles coming on. And that is the position to work in. Once you've found that position, the one that works best for you, practice in that position for several minutes a day, at a time where you're not distracted and can actually focus well. Once it feels easier in that sideline position, then practice in sitting. Once that feels easier, then work up to standing. Now, why is standing the ultimate goal? Well, because that's where life happens. You want to be able to access this muscle during the day, when you're lifting your kids or when you're carrying the car seat around. But beyond standing, you want to be able to access this muscle in a variety of positions, because once you move on from this stage and begin to focus your attention not on connecting to the TA, but on strengthening the TA, and there is a difference, then at least you'll be able to watch your core during your exercises, whatever position they happen to be in, and adjust what your core is doing if you notice that it's going back to its default strategy. Now, you also might be wondering, do I have to do this forever? The answer is no. Once you feel more connected to the lower TA, and once you feel like this core strategy is becoming a bit easier to access, then you can move on to strengthening the TA, which I'll cover in a separate video. I'm sure there's still one more question that you're itching to ask. What about the middle TA or the upper TA? What do I do if I'm having a hard time drawing in those areas? Well, the process is the same. Find a position that lets you draw in that area the most and lets you feel what you're doing the most and work at it from there. Then gradually work your way up to the standing position. Okay, so go ahead and get yourself in front of a mirror and begin connecting with your lower TA. If this video helped you, like it or comment below. And if you know someone that is struggling to connect with their core, share this video with them. If you're a mom with diastasis and you feel stuck in your progress, you can download my diastasis guide, where I covered 10 of the most common reasons why women hit a plateau in their core rebuilding efforts, and I go over what to do about it. And if you're a professional that helps postpartum women with diastasis, you can enroll in my online course called Diastasis Rectus Abdominis and the Postpartum Core. Join professionals from around the world who have taken their understanding of diastasis to an entirely new level, even ones who have decades of experience on them. And now that you know that the main function of the TA is to draw the abdomen inwards, did I actually cover that? I still think it's too fast. I still think it's too fast. Now it's too slow.